There are places that remember, not in photographs, not in records, but in silence. Tonight, on The Obscure, we don't explore a house, we don't investigate a ruin, we listen to a voice that was never meant to be heard. Some windows don't reflect your image. Sometimes they show you who's still waiting. This is She Waits at the Window. The house on Ashbourne Lane wasn't remarkable. It wasn't the oldest. It wasn't the darkest. It didn't even look abandoned. It simply looked forgotten. Number 17. 2 stories, yellowed curtains, a small upstairs window facing the road. And every night, at exactly 2:17 a.m, the same thing happened. The curtain moved. No one lived there. At least, not anymore. The Harrisons had moved in during late autumn. A quiet family. Mother, father, 1 son, aged 9. They stayed for 12 days. On the 13th night, neighbours reported screaming. Not loud, not violent, just distressed, panicked, pleading. And then, silence. The next morning, the family was gone. No moving van, no announcement, no forwarding address. Just empty rooms and 3 cups still on the kitchen table. When the property agent entered the house a week later, she found something unusual. Every mirror had been turned to face the wall. And in the upstairs bedroom, the smallest one, something had been written on the inside of the window in what looked like condensation. She doesn't like to be alone. The house remained vacant for 3 years, until a man named Daniel Mercer bought it at an auction. Daniel didn't believe in hauntings. He believed in wiring faults, faulty plumbing, and overactive imaginations. The first night was quiet. The second night, less so. Daniel lived alone. So when he heard footsteps in the hallway at 2:17 a.m, he assumed the wood was just settling. When he heard them again the following night, pacing from the staircase to the small bedroom at the end, he blamed the pipes. On the 4th night, he stayed awake. He watched the clock tick towards 2:17. 2:16. The air grew colder. Not dramatically, just enough that his breath began to show. 2:17. Then, humming. Soft. Childlike. Coming from upstairs. Daniel didn't want to go up there. But something about the sound wasn't threatening. It wasn't angry. It was lonely. The hallway was darker than it should have been. The small bedroom door was open. Inside, the curtain by the window swayed gently, and standing in front of it was a little girl. She wore a pale blue nightdress. Her hair hung long and dark over her shoulders. Her feet were bare. She wasn't facing him. She was looking out the window. Daniel spoke.
Hello.
The humming stopped, but she didn't turn. Instead, she raised one small hand and placed it flat against the glass. Slowly, deliberately, and on the outside of the window, a second handprint appeared. Daniel stepped back. The second handprint was larger, longer fingers, not a child's, and it was pressed inward, as if something outside was trying to get in. The girl finally turned her head, not fully, just enough that Daniel could see one eye. It was too dark, too deep, like it went further back than it should, and when she spoke, her voice didn't match her size. It layered, 2 tones at once. I don't like it when he watches. Daniel moved toward her. I can help you, he said. the larger handprint on the glass pressed harder. The window bowed inwards slightly. The girl's expression didn't change. "He stands behind the trees," she whispered. And then, all at once, the curtain snapped violently sideways. The window shattered inwards. Daniel threw his arms up, but there was nothing. No body, no figure outside, only the yard, still, empty. When he looked back into the room, the girl was gone. But small wet footprints led from the window, across the floor, and stopped directly behind him. Daniel did not turn around. He said later he couldn't, because he felt something inches from the back of his neck. Something small. Something breathing. The next morning, Daniel listed the house for sale. He didn't explain why. He didn't repair the window. He left the curtains open. And before he handed the keys back to the agent, he wrote something on the inside of the glass. Just 4 words. "She isn't alone anymore." The house still stands, number 17 Ashbourne Lane, and neighbours say that sometimes when they wake in the early hours, they see 2 figures at the upstairs window. One small, one tall, both watching. And if you pass by at 2:17 a.m. and the curtain moves, don't wave, don't stare, and whatever you do, don't look behind you, because she might not be looking out. She might be checking to see if he followed you home. Some stories don't end, they relocate. If you've ever seen something watching from a window, or heard humming when no one else was home, maybe you weren't alone. You've been listening to The Obscure, where the quiet things speak loudest. Sleep carefully, and remember, stay curious, stay cautious, and stay obscure.